So in the context of the preceding quotes, we offer a blueprint for the future that is anchored in 21st century invention to innovation and necessitates the formation of a learning community. Necessitates the formulation of a learning community. What is a learning community? A learning community is where people come together with skills, with knowledge, with the idea of sharing. And how does that work out? I heard the Chief Minister yesterday say, having knowledge is not enough. What is important is to share knowledge. We didn't know that that's what he was going to talk about. But that's what he said. The result is a government-enabled ecosystem where harmonization of education and creating the knowledge worker who generates intellectual, social, economic wealth occurs from sustained regional growth and continuous economic development. Now this is where we say, okay, we've given you the background. So we now want to put before you the question. And I'm going to, in the next slide, and I'm going to invite Sammy to introduce this question for you to reflect on as we think in terms of Golden Gujarat 50 years from now, or Platinum Gujarat X number of years from now. Sammy.
Yes. Are we on slide 3 at this time?
We're on slide 3.
Okay. Congratulations to the academicians, the IIT alums, the students, the businessmen, and the government officials that are there. I'm sorry that I cannot be with you in person, but I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to speak to you. Well, first of all, even before we begin on anything, when you begin the choice to start anything, you must articulate a question. The academicians in the audience would know that the best thesis, the best PhD students are the ones who are going to articulate the proper question. We can give you a tremendous amount of statistics. I'll just refer to Sunil, who's already provided a tremendous amount of those. We're not going to delve into statistics, but we are going to go ahead and bring forth an articulation of a question that we heard the Chief Minister, Mr. Modi, talk about again and again. And what we were able to extract out of it was the citizen of Gujarat is wired. And it is the citizen that we must pursue and deliver solutions to, so that there can be 3 entities which can come together to provide the results that we are trying to achieve. What are the 3 entities? As I previously said, academicians, you are in the audience. Government officials, you're in the audience. The industry, the entrepreneurs, you're in the audience. So the question is, what is the role of the 3 together, not independently? That is the key construct here that we would like to share. And one of the things I would like to refer is that this is not pulled out of the hat, ladies and gentlemen. Farrokh and I have taken approximately 4 years to come to these conclusions through in-practice innovation, both in economic development, within universities, and companies like Procter & Gamble. Farrokh, can we move on to the next one?
Next slide, please. Sammy.
We'll hand it over to you. Let me go ahead and set this context. It is a very good idea for us to put forth what has been or is still being used as the method of working. So if you look at this slide, you will see that business comes to Gujarat to establish itself, and it looks at the policies of the government. And then it looks at where is the knowledge worker? Are they available to us or not? Now, what has happened now, the acceleration of the marketplace is such, ladies and gentlemen, it took New York to be what it is in about 150 years, but we have Shenzhen, 12 years, 21 million population. We have Dubai coming out of the ground in 10 years. Now, copy and paste is one approach, but what we are offering is a new way of thinking, not the push and pull method that's in front of you, where I as a business, all right, you give me $10 million in tax break and I'll establish this factory over here. Now, is that the way to move forward? I don't know, perhaps it is. But what we are here to offer is, we are suggesting that this is the context of the 20th century. Let's move towards where the 3 start to work together. Farrokh, please.
I have just been informed that we need to move a bit faster, Sammy. So let me now take the next slide. And
yes.
Here's the situation. Albert Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. So if we continued in the way in which we are doing, no matter how progressive, no matter how good, guess what? The end result is not going to be a transformation. It's going to be the same thing. Next slide, please. So what are the three constructs? What are the three constructs? What are the three constructs that are going to help us in this transition from the 20th century to the 21st century? With that, Sammy, the floor is yours.
Number one, we have been solving problems. Because this is a very educated audience, let me give you a specific example. In 1898, a Russian scientist developed a molecule called bisphenol A. It strengthens plastic. In 1937, it was discovered, ladies and gentlemen, that it causes harm to organic material. That is our flesh. It is 2010, and we still have bisphenol A in many plastic bottles and plastics which are running around in India presently. We solved a problem, we created a dilemma, which remains unmanaged. It's shocking how long it's taken. Problem solving was 20th century. What we are suggesting is the 21st century construct is dilemma management. Dilemma is managed when multiple problems are solved. When multiple entities come together to look at the macro view so that one does not suffer when the other one gains. Farrokh, next slide and your definition.
So what is a dilemma? A dilemma is when you are between a rock and a hard place. It is not a complex problem. It is when you are in the rock and the hard place. That is, there is no win-win solution. There is no win-win solution. We assert to you that when you get to the level of dealing with dilemmas and managing those dilemmas, then we have the opportunity to identify the white spaces that are going to help us leapfrog and move ahead. An example of a dilemma is given on the next slide, and Sammy will take you through it.
I wanted to, because this is something which is key to Gujarat. Please, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to this slide. This is from the Economist Intelligence Unit. There was a drought in Punjab. And to solve this issue earlier in this decade, the government decided to put ground wells for agriculture. In a matter of 6 years, you can see the law of underground water for agriculture and otherwise. Problem solved, dilemma unmanaged. So I believe this ought to kind of clarify to you how in the 20th century problem solving cannot be the model for sustainability. There cannot be sustainment in problem solving. Next slide, please.